Okay, so this is me recording ahead of time the video version of Categorical's Pub Quiz for the 13th of April 2018, which does mean happy Friday the 13th to anyone who watches these videos. This week, rules are the same as always. We're going to have 19 questions plus the music question, which kind of counts, kind of doesn't. The 10th question and the 19th question have multiple parts, 2 parts on 10, 5 parts on 19. Give yourself 60 seconds to 2 minutes per question, and we'll be going through all the questions before we go through the answers. I hope you have a good time. So, question 1. Singapore is a sovereign city-state and an island country in Southeast Asia. It ranks 5th on the UN Human Development Index, and it has the 3rd highest GDP per capita. But what does the name Singapore mean? Does it mean A, Lion City, B, Garden City, C, Singing City, or D, Trading City, or E, other? Just could mean anything else. Question 2. This is a question about things you didn't know had names. Give the specific technical name of any one of these things. The dot on a lowercase I or J, the metal holding the eraser on a pencil, the and sign character, the back, that is the non-flat face of a hammer. Question 3. Below are the descriptions of the military achievements of 3 former US presidents. Name any one of the men being described here. So you could tell me who was the commander of the Union Army who accepted the Confederate leaders' surrender at Appomattox. Who was the US president who, before they were president, was shot down during a bombing run, flew the damaged plane away from the island and ejected into the sea, and was rescued after 4 hours? Or last of all, you could tell me who served in combat during World War I as a captain of the 129th Field Artillery. All 3 of those men became president after their service. Question 4. Which of these capital cities is the furthest north? Lisbon, Madrid, Athens, or Ankara? Question 5. The Hubble Space Telescope was not the first space telescope, but it is one of the largest and most versatile. It is well known even outside of science circles, and it continues to operate today. Answer either of the following. In what year, ±1, was Hubble launched? Or in what year, ±1, will Hubble's successor, the James Webb Space Telescope, launch? Question 6. Spirited Away, with the Japanese title given there, is a 2001 animated film by Hayao Miyazaki, produced by Studio Ghibli. It is critically acclaimed and is the only hand-drawn animated film and the only Japanese animated film to win the Best Animated Film award at the Oscars. What type of animal are the main character's parents transformed into near the beginning of the film? Question 7. The logos of 2 universities below have the years of foundation listed in Roman numerals underneath them. Using this, how many years were there between the founding of these 2 universities? And this is the maths question as well. Question 8. This is the acronyms question. Expand any one of these for the point. The objective was to reach LEO. They stayed at the YWCA. I was going to do it, but then I thought, WWJD. Question 9. Both the Moon and the International Space Station, ISS, are in space, orbiting the Earth. But approximately how many times further away is the Moon than the ISS from Earth? Is it 100 times further, 300 times further, 600 times further, or 950 times further? Question 10. This is the two-parter. We're doing famous quotes and their sources. So for 10A, for either one of the following quotes, give the Shakespeare play that is the source of the quote. So the first quote is, "The better part of valour is discretion." The second quote is, "Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them." So there are two different Shakespeare plays. You need to give me either one. For 10B, not getting ahead of ourselves too far. For either one of the following quotes, give the name of the film that is the source of the quote. So the first quote is, "Go ahead, make my day." And the second quote is, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." Question 11. In Judeo-Christian mythology, which of the following names of demons is not mentioned in the Bible in at least one place? So we have 11A, Abaddon, 11B, Leviathan, 11C, Legion, 11D, Beelzebub, E, Mammon, or F, Balnazar. Which one of those demons is not biblical? Question 12. A landlocked country is a country with no access to the sea. Name any one of these four landlocked Saharan African nations. So they are highlighted in red below. I apologise to any colourblind people, but it's the block of four landlocked countries there. Question 13. The two bloodiest battles of World War I were fought in 1916, one mainly between Germany and France, and the other between Germany and Britain. Name both of these battles. Half a point if you can only get one of them. Question 14. The 50 US states plus the District of Columbia contain around 325 million of the around 329 million US citizens in the world. There are 5 territories of the USA that contain more than 50,000 people to make up the difference. Name any 2 of those territories, and you can have half a point if you only get one of them. Question 15. This is the anagram question. We are looking for a double Oscar-winning actress in the anagram Tentacle Batch. Question 16. Below is a horrifying mashup of 3 European flags. For the point, I want you to name any 2 of the countries whose flags are part of the mix. You get half a point if you only know one. Question 17. This is what year? In this year, Edward VIII becomes the King of England, then abdicates within the year to his brother Albert, who is later known as George VI. Construction of the Hoover Dam is completed. African-American athlete Jesse Owens wins the 100-meter dash at the Olympics. The last known thylacine, better known as Tasmanian tiger, named Benjamin, dies in Hobart Zoo in Tasmania. Italy annexes Ethiopia. Burt Reynolds, Sepp Blatter, Shirley Knight, John McCain, Brian Blessed, and Pope Francis are all born. What year? Question 18. What is the name of the former French colony that contained Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia? Was it French Siam, French Indies, the French Spice Coast, Sino-Francia, French Indochina, or French Guiana? Which of those is the name for that territory? That brings us to our 5-parter, and the theme is going to be the Olympics. So for 19A, from 1896 to 2017, if you sum up all total medals, gold, silvers and bronzes from both summer and winter games, you have a measure of all-time success by country. So this does not include the most recent winter games in Korea. The USA is at the top of that list, but I want you to name either the 2nd or the 3rd highest medal-earning nations. You can have half a point if you happen to get the 4th or the 5th. So you need to guess one country that you think is either second or third. Question 19b. It has already been announced where the next 3 Summer Olympic Games will be held. For the whole point, give the city that will host either one of the 2024 or 2028 Olympic Games. For half a point only, you could give the city that will host the 2020 Olympic Games. For 19c, how many medal awarding events were there at the 2018 Winter Olympics? Was it between 25 and 75, 75 and 125, 125 and 175, or 176 or more events that awarded medals? Question 19d. The 2020 Summer Olympic Games will feature 7 sports that did not appear in the 2012 London Games. Name any 2 of these newcomers. Half a point if you only get one of them. 2 of these appeared at Rio, and the other 5 will be all new in 2020. And lastly, 19e, where will the next Winter Olympic Games be held? We've just had the Pyeongchang Korean Games. So in 2022, will they be held in Norway, France, China, Kazakhstan, or Spain? All right, that concludes our previous set. We've asked all the questions now, apart from who be playing. So this one is Come On Eileen, which, just saying it, I'm very aware that I can't sing. So I'm going to resist the urge to try and sing and just come on Eileen, oh come on Eileen. Alright, moving on. We're going to go through the answers now, so make sure if you haven't filled in everything that you pause. Alright, you were warned. The answers. Question 1. Singapore means Lion City. There you go. Question 2. These things are a tittle, the ferrule, ampersand, and the peen of the hammer. Question 3. Ulysses S. Grant accepted the Confederate surrender. George H.W. Bush was shot down during a bombing run. And Harry S. Truman served in World War I. The story about George H.W. Bush in particular is pretty crazy. Question 4. Madrid is the furthest north. Ankara second, Athens third. Lisbon third, and Athens furthest south. Question 5. The Hubble telescope was launched in 1990, plus minus 1, so 89 and 91 are also fine. And the James Webb Space Telescope will launch next year in 2019, so this year, next year, or the year after are all within tolerance for that. Question 6. Spirited Away, the main character's parents are transformed into pigs after feasting on the spirit's food. Question 7. The answer comes out to be 602, or if you're answering in Roman numerals, DCII. The University of Cambridge is old. Question 8. The acronyms were Low Earth Orbit, Young Women's Christian Association, I'm sure it's also fun to stay at, and What Would Jesus Do? Question 9. The Moon is 950 times further from the surface of the Earth than the International Space Station. And the numbers are shown on the right there. Question 10. The 2 Shakespeare plays were Henry IV Part 1. If you just put Henry IV, that's fine. And perhaps better known, Twelfth Night. Question 10b. Here we had Sudden Impact and Apocalypse Now. Question 11. Balnazar is not a Christian demon. That is a character from the World of Warcraft and other Warcraft games. Question 12. These 4 landlocked countries were Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Chad. Question 13. Verdun and the Somme. You just need those 2 words to get the point. If you only have one of them, that's worth half a point. But certainly this isn't the hardest World War I question I've ever given, but it's very important. Those 2 battles are still of huge significance in England and France. Question 14. The 5 territories here in descending order of population are Puerto Rico with 3.3 million people, Guam with 168,000 people, the US Virgin Islands 107,000, American Samoa and the Northern Mariana Islands with 52,000 each. Any 2 of those for the point. Question 15. Our anagram was disguising Cate Blanchett. Question 16. So this was actually the first one of these I ever made. I think one of them has already gone up because I do my quizzes in a funky order. But here we have Portugal, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. I will also accept just Macedonia. I'm not taking sides on that debate. And Belarus. Question 17. The year was 1936 when the abdication crisis, the Olympics that featured Jesse Owens winning the 100 metres and the death of the last Tasmanian tiger. Question 18. French Indochina was the name of that colony. Siam referred to Thailand, the Indies were the Caribbean, the Spice Coast would have been in Africa somewhere because that's where all the countries called coast were. Sino-Francia I made up completely, and French Guiana is a place that still exists in South America. So if you knew a few of those things, you would probably have narrowed this down pretty handily. And as it says, it existed for quite a long time. Question 19 then, Olympics. So there is the table of the top 5 all-time medal winners. So in second place is the Soviet Union, even though they no longer exist. Then it is Great Britain, slightly ahead of Germany, slightly ahead of France. So for the whole point, you need Soviet Union or Great Britain, and for the half, you need Germany or France. 19b. The 2024 games will be in Paris. The 2028 games will be in Los Angeles. Either one of those is worth the whole point. And the 2020 games will be in Tokyo for half a point if you put that. 19c. There were 102 medal awarding events. For the first time the Winter Olympics got past 100. So that second option of 75 to 125 was correct. 19d. The 2020 Summer Games will feature these newcomers: golf, rugby sevens, baseball/softball, karate, sport climbing, surfing, and skateboarding. Question 19e then, to round out Olympics, is that the 2022 Winter Olympics will be held in China. And indeed, there's the logo. Come On Eileen was, of course, a hit for Dexy's Midnight Runners. Apparently I've put Gino on there as well, which is their other big hit. Both great songs. And I hope you enjoyed this round. I was feeling pretty down last week about the video round, but, you know, it's nice to sit down and go through it. It helps me kind of process it. Have a great week. There'll be another one of these next week, and let me know what you think over in the Reddit thread. And if you want to support me in Patreon, you can do that too. Obviously, all support is welcome. And I want to thank the people who are already supporting me. I know there's only 2 of them, but it still means a lot. Ciao.